Email campaigns versus email workflows for business marketing. You know, email marketing equals to sales, right? And I'm sure you know this already. It's just that some people don't always get to see it happen, but it is happening. And this is one topic a lot of people have big questions. And I'm like, we have to answer these questions today and also answer them in a way that makes sense to you and also makes sense to me. Because if it don't make sense to any of us, then nobody is going to get any information. So today I was like, okay, let me have an evening edition. Because I was like earlier, I was like, nah, not really. This is a topic that you want to listen to, a room that you want to listen to, because there's going to be a lot of information here that you'd have to replay and listen over. So I'm just setting the tone so that you can, get familiar and also get to understand what the goal is for your business, how you're going to use your business in 2025, and use email marketing as a really good way to boost your traffic and also boost your connectivity. So, we're going to talk about this today. And there's a big difference between these two. Huge difference. Huge difference. Because when you think about the differences between these two, the first question I believe you should start thinking about is, how does my business get out there and how is it seen by the ESP, which is the email service providers, right? You have your Yahoo Mail, you have your Apple Mail, you have your Google Mail, you have your AOL. So some people who still have that. By the end of the day, you have a way to communicate with people. And emails are the perfect ways in which you can use emails from start to finish, right? Because when you think about your email marketing, your platform, the people you're connecting with, the major thing to know, especially when you look at the difference between these two, are email campaigns are like, okay, I'm going to run a campaign about this shoe that I want somebody to wear. It's a brown shoe, and this is a shoe you're going to wear. You can wear it to the park, you can wear it to an event, you can wear it to the airport, you can wear it to a wedding, you can just wear it. So when you think about your business and you're building it for growth and you're using something like a shoe to tell people about it, now this campaign is more like letting them know, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened, or the difference between this and that. You're giving them insights about a topic that they're asking for. So now, if we now roll this back, right, let's just do this real quick. All right. So check this out. Imagine if you have a business, and in this business, right, you have information that's going to help someone understand more about you and what you do. The first thing in 101, first thing is, hey, welcome to the store. What are you looking for? That question is the most important question when somebody walks through the door. Because if they walk through and you say welcome and they say thank you and you say, how can I help you? And then the response is, I'm looking for fill in the blank. And then your response is answer the question. Then the response you give back, that feedback is the determining factor whether they're going to walk out of that door or walk through the store and then get what they want and then get out, because they were able to find what they were looking for. So when you send out an email, that email is going to come either as a workflow or as a campaign, right? The workflow is where you have a sequence of events. You have conditional logics, you have informational pieces, you have things you're telling stories on. You're helping them understand concepts, right? Campaigns are different because you can have a campaign, and this campaign could be we're sending 5 emails a week, we're sending 5 emails a month, right? That's a campaign because you're campaigning for something, right? When you campaign, you say, okay, we're going to campaign from point A to point B. We're going to do this at this time or that time. We're going to send an email at this or that. Those are the things that start to happen. So, as a business, how you build your connectivity is how it starts, right? And that helps you long term with your business. Think about how you can use a campaign and let people know, hey, this is my campaign. I have this topic, I have this information, I want to help this person, and I have this, story to tell. Now, in a workflow, you're dealing with sequences, right? You're dealing with this person enters this segment, you ask them a question, and then this happened, and this happens. Now, in a campaign, if somebody comes in and you send a campaign and say, hey, we just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you for being here with us. We're so excited to have you in our space. And the next thing is you're looking at this person waiting for a response. And when they have a response, you have to think about how you're going to give them that feedback that they'll actually want, to receive. And when you think about the email that you're sending, especially if it's the very first time they're receiving this email, you want this email to be something that you want them to remember, right? Because if they came in for something and you send them something else, then they're probably going to bounce. That's the most likely chance of that happening is close to 100%, right? Because they came in for something, they left with something else because they didn't get what they asked for. So when you send out an email, you think about the email that you're sending, but you're also thinking about the plan behind the email. Because when you send an email, you're sending an email to help people understand some things. So if I send you an email and I talk about this same shoe, and then I ask you, what kind of shoes do you like? Do you like leather shoes? Do you like rubber shoes? Do you like, let's go down the list. Then from there, when you know exactly what type of shoe you like, then I'll know that, okay, we have this type, we have this type, we have this type, we have this type. When you now come to the store, any email I send you would be exactly what you came for. If you like brown leather shoes and that's what you like, then that's what I'm going to be sending you. If you don't like shoes that have maybe loafers, or you don't like shoes that have high tops, whatever it is, if you don't like those things, I'll know that that's what you don't like. Then that way I'm able to communicate with you at a faster pace and at a deeper pace too, because now we're actually having a conversation about what you came in for. That's why when you send people to places, right? Whether you have a product store or a service business, majorly, you really have to think through this and ask yourself, okay, if I have a business and I'm going to send out content for the content's sake, then at least let the content really be helping the person that's receiving this information for better, responses. So if I have an email and I'm sending this email out to someone and I'm saying, okay, this is the first email I'm getting, that campaign will be something that you're mentioning on a frequent basis. So, like, I'll give you an example. This month, this is March, it's Women's History Month. So, every woman listen to this. Happy Women's History Month, and we appreciate you. I appreciate you. Every month of March in the year, consistently year over year, we've been able to have just women having the episodes and pretty much having a really great spotlight and just showcasing all the entrepreneurs, the business owners, the business leaders, what they do, how they do things. And it's really beautiful to see how people respond back to those, episodes. And that starts tonight because I've been looking at the episodes and I'm reading and I'm listening and I'm like, okay, people are liking these types of shows, these types of episodes, this type of content pieces. And it's very easy to understand this because when you send in an email, right? This email is supposed to let them know about something, right? So as a business, you have to think about if you're sending an email for business marketing purposes, right? Then your email campaign needs to be sent out in a way that if it's scheduled for a weekly send, let's say every Tuesday morning, then that email would be going out every Tuesday morning as a campaign to talk about things. It could be a newsletter, right? Just replace the word campaign and add newsletter, all right? Or replace the word newsletter and put marketing, right? Campaigns are those things that you market. When you think about campaigns, political campaigns, creative campaigns, even campaigning for a spelling bee, whatever you're campaigning for to be school president, all those campaigns have marketing involved, right? There's engagement involved. There are people involved, right? So that is where you start sending out things consistently, but in a sequential way that gives you the ability to convey what you're trying to say long term. Because those emails they're getting, they're listening, they're learning. They may not say anything, but those emails are valuable, right? Because they want to learn and they want to understand how they can get better. Now, when you think about email workflows, those are a little bit different because those workflows now mean that if, think about it like this, right? If somebody walks in, they get a card. Somebody walks in, they get a card. Somebody walks in, they get a card. That happens every single time. So that means if you have a workflow that you're sending out, a workflow is different from a campaign because a workflow means that you've set up a system that is operational for a set period of time within different cycles of email sends so that when people receive those emails, they don't have to receive them a second time. So if you came in January and you signed up to my email list, and then somebody else came in July, and somebody else came in October, every time that person signs up for the first time, they're going to get that email. That email will be uniquely the same in different ways, but it's going to cater to your business because when that email sequence starts with a workflow, anything you click on changes the flow of how you go through that workflow. So if you click no, if you don't click, if something happens, if you click on something and it's segmented in a way, then that's how your journey starts. So a workflow is different because a workflow is like a custom experience journey for email marketing. And then an email campaign is what everybody receives when if you're an investor, if you're a consumer, if you're, whatever it is, if you're a part of the community, that's where everybody gets that. But in email workflows, not everybody receives those workflows because you're getting more specific and getting more detailed with how people receive it. So think about a workflow like a funnel because I want to give you other words, not just the words that you see. Because when you think about a word and you keep to that word, then you lose the full meaning because they're synonyms of these words. So when you think about the responsive words that actually make sense in context, then workflows are looking like funnels because these are platforms that you're using to convey messages in a way that they can still connect back with you. But now here's the thing about email marketing. Everybody has a platform they use for emails and for working out and for doing things that are going to help them have a great SOP, right? Standard operating procedures. Now, everybody has procedures, everybody has policies, right? So if your policy and your procedures are different from somebody else's, it could be one or two things. It could be one or two clauses. It could be one or two points. At the end of the day, right? That's how you're going to be seeing your business take action when people are taking their time to actually connect with you. Because when they click on something and they say, I want this, I want that, that helps you to also know, because anytime you're sending an email, you're pushing a signal, you're pushing a notification, you're pushing a click, you're pushing a scroll, you're pushing a swipe. Every time you do that, and most people don't really see this, but when you look at your emails and you send emails, especially if you've not connected your emails well, or I can say it like this, authenticate your domain. In other words, protect your asset online. Because when you send an email and that email bounces, or that email goes to spam, or it goes to a place it's not supposed to go, and then you look at your email deliverability, it says 58.9%. That's a bad one, because that 58.9% means that if you sent out an email to 1,000 people, only half, at least little over half of them got it. And then the little over half that got it, not everybody clicked on it, and not everybody still saw it, because they still didn't get into their primary inbox, because it wasn't really an authentic send. Because there's something called an MX record, which is a mail exchange record, right? And that comes from your workspace. Either you use Google, Microsoft, that's where it comes from. And if your DNS record is faulty, then that's going to be a problem. And then what happens next is that same DNS record that you're adding to your email that you're sending people through your website or to your website, that domain email that you bought is still a domain email for your website. That's why when you buy a domain first, then you buy hosting, then you buy a mailbox. That's how it goes. You don't buy a mailbox before you get the keys to your house. You get the keys, you get the title deed, right? And then you build from there. So when you look at emails and you look at them like your websites, and you look at them like the way you send signals, it changes. Because someone's going to get that email, and then you can tell them, hey, P.S., manually move this email to your primary inbox. That solves a lot of problems, because you're signaling triggers. You're saying, okay, this is actually, when it says mark not as spam, that's a trigger too, because that means that this is not a spam email. So when people see those things, it's like I won't call it a false negative. It's like a double whammy. Let me say it like that, because you're getting so many things on the feedback, because even though you're responding to people who have never connected with you and they're getting emails from you for the first time, then those emails are going to be helpful, because when you say mark not as spam, then it tells the algorithm that you do have good emails. People stay, right? People can unsubscribe, they can manage preferences. Everyone is free to do anything. But at the end of the day, the goal is to make sure that your emails are received, they're secured, and they're responded to. I think that's everybody's desire, including mine. So if we want to be on the same path, then our goal is to make sure that with business marketing, we use email campaigns to send out frequently sent emails, and actually ask them. Let me not even say decide, ask them, because they're the ones that are receiving the emails. So send a poll, ask them, hey, would you like an email once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, or all day, every week? Or you can do 5 times a week, or every day in the week. See what they say. When you see that response, now the ball is in your court, because now they've told you, we like this, we like this, we like this, right? We like apples, we like mangoes, we like grapefruit. We don't like pomegranate, we don't like bananas, and we don't like avocado. That's what they'll tell you. That's a random, explanation, example. Hypothetically, so when you see the same thing happen to your business and you now fill in the blanks, you ask yourself, what do they like? What do they not like? Right? You don't like broccoli, you like cauliflower, right? You choose the things that you like because you like what you like. So when you start sending those campaigns and you say, here's a podcast episode, here's an event, here is a sponsorship link, here's a request form. When you start seeing people clicking on those things and you start segmenting those things, your email campaigns get better, and then your email workflows get faster, because now when you put somebody in that workflow system, it's an afterthought. So think about it like this. Your campaigns is what's bringing people in, right? You send an email campaign, you say, welcome, here's what we have. The workflow is now saying, okay, now this person has been here for the last 2 years. and doesn't still understand what we do, but has an idea. But they maybe understand what we do, but they've never experienced it because they've either never purchased or they've never really paid attention, but they are probably ready whenever they're ready because they're here to stay. So by the time they get in that workflow and they start getting emails, responses, we're talking about speed because campaign is like, okay, hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You keep saying that every day and people remember, yeah, we're campaigning, yeah, 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 right? The workflow is different. It's like, okay, we already know these people know how we say good morning and we already know the routine. Now they all want to know about coffee, bacon, eggs. They want to know about these things because they want to know how it's prepared. They want to know, okay, it's morning time. I like socks. This is how I like my socks. People start thinking in different ways because now they're in the capacity to now express themselves because now they're getting polls, they're getting surveys, they're getting response notes, they're getting podcast episodes, they're getting audio clips, video clips, they're getting all kinds of things that not everybody else on your email list is getting because those are the selected people. Let's say out of 1,000 people, 200 people are interested in that. Those 200 people are going through a workflow. That means they're receiving emails, they're responding, they're getting polls, it's like an automated system. Campaigns is automated, but I would say it's more scheduled. So when you think about the two and you use them for your business, it's like the front wheels of your car and the back wheels of your car. The front wheels are your campaigns. You keep campaigning, driving everywhere. Your workflow is like, okay, now let's make this happen. Let's make this, really, really count. So when you think about it like that, it changes how you think about the business that you're in. So these are some things that you really have to think through and ask yourself as a business, how am I moving today? How am I moving today? So I wanted to just bring this to you really quickly, help you understand it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. The link is available at the top and you can book a call. We can stay in touch and, let's get this going because email marketing is one platform, one thing that is stressful. I have a friend who told me, and I was like, wow, imagine, let me say it this way, and I'll make it anonymous, but also make it very I'll give a random number too, but it's also within that same range. So imagine paying an email list at $3. When I say $3, I mean like $3 signs. So instead of paying $2 signs a month, you're paying $3 signs a month. And then you're not using that $3 signs a month every month. And it's not really converting. Let's say you're spending $500 a month not on ads, on email marketing. Imagine if you were spending with Flowdesk like 200, 300 a year with, with the same thing, but you get more. That's how you can do it because a lot of people are spending money on email marketing, especially business owners, and they don't know any other option because they were told about it or they were referred or they just Googled it or went to YouTube. They didn't really do research or they're not aware. There's a lot going on. So how do you figure it out for yourself as a business owner? And what do you do? So there's some things that you have to really think about and process too. All right, give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back, but I just want you guys to think about what has just been said. I just wanted to, really bring this topic today and really just give you insight about this because it's really hard to decide between these two, right? And really understand how these things work. How do you build your business with email marketing? And how do you do it in a really good way? How do you say you are connecting with people, you're showing them how things work, you're building systems with them, and you're also helping them understand how things flow. It's not easy to be sending out emails and knowing what to send. That's also another thing too, because there are 2 points here. One point is you're sending out an email, you don't know if these people are interested, yet they signed up, but you don't know what they came for. And then two, they're receiving the emails and they're also trying to understand what's really happening. And one of the best ways I've noticed about emails is when you start sending out emails with videos, it changes everything. Like there's a warmer touch, even audios too with podcasts. You can send blogs, you can send reports, you can send all kinds of things. But when you start sending audios and videos, then it changes everything because now those campaigns become more personal. It's also on a professional level too, but it also gives you like a long term, plan and process because now people can connect with you at a deeper level and they can actually feel your energy because of how, you're speaking and how you're resonating. It changes everything. So there's so much that you can learn from this, especially when it comes to business marketing and, emails. How do you process those things? So definitely I'm excited that I got to talk about these two things and I was able to break them down. But when you look at the long term plan of everything, it starts off with what you want. And there are platforms that you can think of because there's some platforms too that if you're spending so much money on them and you're not really getting much back, especially because you're getting something back because your email list is growing, but you're also spending more money because you have more overhead costs. So if you're able to like cut your overhead costs in half and double your profit and revenue, it's a great place to be because with email marketing, you can never go wrong. Never. Like I've never sent an email and I felt like this email shouldn't have gone anywhere. It went somewhere and it came back full circle. Eventually, it does. So you have to really think through these things and just see like what's best for you and how do you really build out your business. So that's why I wanted to bring this out to you. So I appreciate you, Unique, Tamika. Thank you for being here, Tamika. Wendy, glad to have you here. And Hector, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, man. I've not. I mean, Clubhouse has been great, and I'm still here. But I feel like it's so hard to be on the app for so long, But I also want to make sure I'm here for some time. So being here with you, giving you these insights, telling what's going on, it's it's amazing. Oh, you're welcome, Wendy. I'm glad it worked out well. I'm so happy. Appreciate you too. Yeah, I knew like definitely I was like, yeah, you're the one that they definitely need. Appreciate you. Thank you as well, Tamika. I love doing this on Clubhouse because I feel like this is the one place that if it wasn't for Clubhouse, I wouldn't have met a lot of people. Facts. I mean, I've met a lot of people, but the way I've met a lot of people through Clubhouse, this is year 5, 2020. Yeah, year 5. And it's still growing. It's still like a lot is still happening. It hasn't fully I don't even know where we're going. We're just growing all together. And I love to see this because you meet people, you connect with people, you learn from people. Hey Angie, welcome. And you get to see what people are doing and you're really showing up and you're doing it, connecting the dots and helping them because you're seeing that these people need help, right? They need direction, right? And if you're not giving them that direction that they need, who are they going to look for or who's going to give it to them? So that's why even here being on Clubhouse for me is very sentimental because that's also what has grown my podcast, the We Don't Play podcast show now. When I see this podcast, initially I was like, I have a podcast, just like I have music, I have songs. And I'm like, yeah. But the podcast, I said, whoa, this is not a joke anymore. I think when I hit year 3, that's when I knew, oh, this is actually a business because I was operating it as a hobby because I was doing it more so in a musical way. And I was doing it because I play music, I play the drums, I make art, I make jingles, I make music, songwriting. So and I've done screenplays. So I'm like, this is art. I don't feel like this is work. This is creative process. This is art. So I'm always like, go, 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 beats and bars. And then I figured, okay, I'm on Clubhouse. I'm meeting people. I'm connecting. I have a podcast. People coming to the show. It's not only me anymore because before it used to just be me. And I was trying to get a co-host, But I was like, it wasn't working. And I'm like, I'm not going to force somebody to be on a show they're not interested in. Like, that's not healthy for anybody, neither the audience nor the consumer or even the producer himself, even the editor too. So I said, let me just do it on my own. And that happened. And then being here has transformed so much. And now the podcast itself has grown to, 123 countries globally, and it's still growing. And there's some countries specifically this year that I do want to reach. And I'm like, why are these countries not even on this list? Out of all these countries, these ones are not there. So I've really decided to say, okay, this year, my goal is to hit these three countries. So I have them down pat, and I'm excited because when that happens, I'll just light up. It'll be so great. So I know it's going to happen because I've said, yeah, these are the three countries I haven't connected with that I've been seeing in my radar, and it's been happening over and over again. And I'm like, yeah, they have to connect. And the three are Luxembourg, Switzerland, and Singapore. I don't know why, but those three countries there's something I've seen. So there's a lot of, I think just looking at the podcast and how I've connected with people, I remember literally last week, and I'm sure you'll listen to this episode soon. I was talking to two people. One person was in Mexico, right? And he was having a great time. The beach, he showed me his view. I was like, we're having a podcast. He's about to turn 40. He's just spending time. And this guy is living his life and having a great time, 6 figures, 7 figures. He's sold businesses. He's doing well. And he's just saying, you know what? I've seen it all. And he's having a great time. An hour after we're done with this podcast episode, I've connected with this guy, cool guy, connected on LinkedIn. I go to my next call, and I always laugh, and I'm like, I toured North America in 2 hours. The next call, I was in Canada. The person, she shows me her view, and it's all snow. It's like, I just need I just got to ski now, and I'm going to be in there heavy. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, looking at those two different views, like, I mean, someone may say it's normal, but it's not normal. You don't do that every day. So seeing that in that sequence, and these are people I'm meeting for the first time, one through LinkedIn, one through podcasting, and that has grown into a great relationship. I'm seeing things happen from the podcast. So when I tell my community and I say, hey, this is what happened, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I'll give you another thing that happened yesterday that to me, I don't even know how it happened, because there are over 4 million podcasts in the world. So why is it mine that ends up in the top 100 SEO podcasts on somebody's website? That's an actual engine. I'll show you, I'll actually get the link right now so you guys can see. And I saw that on Twitter, on X. I almost missed it because I was like, wait, what? I was like, this can't be true. But I was like, wait, it's not a bot. Like, this is for real. And I was almost missing it because it said the top 100 SEO podcasts of 2025 are here, and they're called Million Podcasts. I've never heard of them myself. So I'm like, this is a fresh article. This is a new article. And they've not even updated their RSS feed completely. That's what I was seeing. And I was like, okay, let me not go too deep into this. But the fact that there's a list, all right, boom, here we go. I put the link at the top of the room. All right. Yeah, it's going to change. So this is their link. I've never heard of these guys before. And it's a story. You see, even the SEO metadata, maybe I didn't even do correctly. Let me open it on browser because I got it off X. So let me maybe change the URL. Let me do it again. Okay, it changed. Okay, I'm back on Clubhouse. All right, it changed. All right. So click this link and see. I think number one is Marketing School. Yeah, by Neil Patel and Eric Sue. Yeah, that they're first. So if you look at that list, there are 100 people on that list. I didn't pay to be on this list. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what's going on. But I looked there, I'm like, okay, let me see because I'm interested. I'm like, who's out here on podcasts? Like, let me see if I can even get on this list. What do you do? Because there's some things that you just have to I don't know. I think God just is amazing. I look at this list, I'm scrolling down, I'm number 18 on this list, and there are 100 people, 100 podcasts on this list. And I'm like, what? I have to tell my community. How will they know if I don't tell them? I'm not talking about, I mean, what, I'm not going to get an award. It's not a Grammy. But to me, that's a beam light. That's a way of saying keep going. Because sometimes I want to stop. I'm like, this podcast, y'all got enough episodes. They're close to 500 episodes. Y'all be okay. But in my mind, I'm like, no, that's not why I started this. By the time I'm getting to my 10th year, I was telling one of them that one of my goals is to turn this podcast into a school. When it turns 10, that's my goal. So I'm saying it now. I'm praying about it. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it will happen. I don't mean like an e-learning school. That will be there. That's already existing. But an actual institution with school uniforms, with like the real thing. Like if Hall of Fame, like I'm thinking big, God willing, this thing will happen because you think about podcasts, these are digital audiobooks, and we're going to AI now. AI is here. So you think about like audio libraries. What's that going to look like in a couple of years? What are your kids going to be listening to? What are they going to be listening to in college? What are they going to be citing on their research papers? Like the books that we used to read in school are the podcasts our kids are going to read or listen to later or watch later. So I'm thinking like our competition is not even us. It's the next generation. That's our competition, right? So when you think like that, it changes everything because I'm in this point where I'm like, okay, I gotta shift gears. I can't be chilling. I don't know. I think it was Mercedes. Yeah, it was Mercedes. Yeah, Mercedes. I can't remember his role, but he said something that was so like I was like, what? He said that in the next 10 years, his job position will be replaced by AI. And he said it himself. He didn't have to like I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was either on Wealth. It should be on Wealth on the Instagram account. And I was like, what? Okay, this is deep. And I was like, yeah, so people are really thinking beyond the roof now. So I was like, yeah, let me buckle up because this podcast is going somewhere. And people send me emails saying that they love this episode. They love this episode. I even asked some of them. And now what I've started doing, a lot of podcasters should start doing this because I'm going to start doing this. I've already done it. It's already happening. But I feel like a lot of podcasters should do this. Two things. One, connect your RSS feed to your LinkedIn company profile. That's one. Two, whenever you get on a podcast, yes, ask for a review, but be more intentional and be more direct and ask them, or actually not even ask them, request if you could both give each other a recommendation on LinkedIn. That's going to be a big boost for both of you. So I've started doing that again because I looked through my LinkedIn. I was like, man, I haven't done this in a while. And then somebody reached out to me that was on the podcast, said, hey, we'd love to give you a recommendation. This is like after 6 months of the episode being recorded. I'm like, wow, this thing is just coming back. Even on Clubhouse, I get a notification. I see like, oh, you have 5 new listeners on this episode you had on the show. And I look at the episode, and the episode is an episode that was released back in 2022. I'm like, huh? Far back as 2022? So I'm like, yeah, it makes sense because podcast has a very strong shelf life, and same thing does blogs. So blogs like these, when they click on these blogs and they see that podcast episode or that podcast thing, it's like, okay, this is an episode. It actually makes sense. People, they like the name, they like the story, they like the idea, and then they end up bringing me on their show too. So I'm like, yeah, I want to be on your show. So that exchange is so organic that I feel like if I didn't start a podcast, I would not be on Clubhouse because it's the podcast that brought me to Clubhouse, because that's how I was like, oh, okay, there's an audio app. Someone told me about it, invite only. Okay, let me check it out. And I wasn't doing any rooms. So that was when back in the day on Clubhouse, you had to do rooms to actually gain credits so that those credits unlock. It was like gamification. I wish they could bring it back. You had to like do hours. Like the way I'm doing hours right now, you'd have to do hours on Clubhouse, whether there's one person in the room or 1,000 people in the room. It's you got to do those hours, and then eventually you get a notification saying, hey, you've unlocked, you can create a house. Back then was you can create a club. So thinking back then and now, so many things have changed on Clubhouse. Someone I talked to this morning said she hasn't been on Clubhouse in years, but she listened to me somehow and then found my link and then booked the day before to have a call today. And I was like, "You on Clubhouse? I didn't see you on Clubhouse, but I knew the name." But it was like a while back. This is like 2021. And now we had a Zoom call today, 2025. So I think about these things and I'm like, they've probably signed up to the email. I sent an email. I said, book a call. You don't know where it's coming from. Some people think it's like magic, where it's like, okay, I'm going to send an email, and then the next minute, everything's going to look so great. Honestly speaking, that is not happening, because you have to think about the long-term effect of that email. People put stars on emails, because when you put a star on an email, it means that that star is important. It's marked as an important email. The same way you put folders and put tags and highlights and stickers, that's exactly how it is with email. So when you have a campaign and you have a workflow, the workflow is a system. It's what's running the engine, right? That's the back two wheels of the car. The campaign is what you're campaigning. Hey, we're going to drive to this state. We're going to drive to this place. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. That's campaigning, because your daily campaigning, your weekly campaigning, your weekly marketing, your daily marketing. Workflow, now you're in the work zone. Now we got to talk about this product or this service or this or that. When it gets that specific, that's when you're like, okay, that's what we're trying to do. And that's where we're going. And that's what's happening, right? I had a call today with a client this morning. She's running ads. She's doing really well, right? Doing really well, putting $100 a day in and getting close to 2,000 back. And I was asking her, I was like, okay, these sales are coming, yes, but something is wrong. And I was like, let's fix this. And she was like, yeah, I feel like, how do we have all these people adding to cart and we only have these people that have purchased? There's something wrong. And I was like, yeah, I know what's wrong. So we did a search. We did a deep dive search. And I was like, let's literally export your she's on Shopify. I was like, let's export your whole sales list, transaction list, and then let me send it to me. So we looked at it today. I'm documenting this because I'm going somewhere with this. And we send out emails. This is someone that she had to move from Klaviyo to Flowdesk. She was paying close to like $120 a month, and now she's paid about $250 a year. And she gained 1,000 subscribers organically in the first month we installed the system. Now we started off, she was like below 4,000. Now she's close to 6,000 subscribers. And we're running email campaigns right now. And this is the craziest part. I saw it today. We were looking at the Google ads, not Google ads, sorry, the Facebook ads, the meta ads. And then in the meta ads, I was like, how do you run ads? Do you run ads by country, by state, by city? And she was like, yeah, I run it through the whole US, which is totally fine. You want to get to have that wide net. But I was like, how long have you been running this ad? And she has like different segments. So I was like, okay, let's pick one of the segments, because it's a well-oiled machine. Let's pick one segment and then tweak that segment and see if that segment is going to do better than the other segments. And then if it does, we're going to save this and then duplicate it. So we now brought it down a little bit further, niche down, and then I was able to pinpoint exactly where she's getting sales from already. Because when people are making purchases, I'm able to know, okay, 6 a.m., 12 a.m., okay, that's an email will go at 10 p.m. and at 6 a.m. The way you do it, it's like a psychological way of doing it, right? Of marketing. So we now switched it from country, and then we said, okay, let's go by city. Let's not even do state. Let's do city. Because when you do it that way and you're able to know exactly where they are, it saves time. I'm doing the same thing as well for myself, because I run ads, but not for myself. I'm running for clients. But I said this year, let me run an ad and let me actually like understand what's going on. So I'm running a very simple ad right now, very simple ad. And it's a very simple 1 minute ad clip. And I've spent less than about $50, because this is a traffic campaign. This is not even like for sales or conversion. This is pure traffic, but I know where the traffic is coming from and I know what I need the traffic for. So I did research and I said, okay, who are looking for, SEO services? Because I want to understand what their problems are. And because I've been really doing deep research and I'm like, yeah, everyone is doing SEO. SEO is like water right now, just like courses and podcasts and all these great courses and things. But there's something that is very sentimental and very specific to how meticulous you can be when it comes to these things. And I said, let me just run an ad. So right now I've spent about 44.90, so 44 bucks 90 cents, and I'm running traffic to about 10 different cities. And in these cities, I'm spending about 16 cents per click. Right now, that's on average. So if I do like the performance, my lowest, if I look at my lowest, cost per click so far has been 9 cents, right? So I'm averaging on about 9 cents in between. So it's having it's still learning right now. And I'm about to tweak it again. And with these, I've been able to get about 286 clicks. Now, this is just for testing because I was like, if these people are looking for this and this and this, then how can I show them this and this and this? Because it's for awareness. I'm just telling you, hey, your tire's flat. That's all. Like, I'm not telling you where to go. I'm not telling you what tires you need. I'm just telling you, hey, check this out. So that click tells me that those same people need a solution. So when I go back to those same people, I know that these people are searching from the 3rd of this month to the 25th of this month. So I know between the 26th and the 2nd, I need to be planting. It's like when you plant seeds, when you're like planting, like when you go out and you plant, seeds in the ground, when it's about to rain, when you know what to do because you're looking for germination, right? You're looking for growth, you're looking for progress. So when you know on a weekly cycle, on a monthly cycle, on a biannually cycle, on an annual cycle, there's something that happens, then you're able to know, okay, by this time I need to do this and this and this. So when people start to shop between Wednesday and Saturday, and then Sunday they may not shop, they may just want to chill, then you're able to know exactly who they are and how they do things. So why I'm just giving you these examples in full is so that you know that whenever you run email campaigns or email workflows for business marketing, your business starts off with building trust from the front door, the welcome email. So underrated, but one of the most valuable things you can ever do, because how you tell somebody thank you or how you tell somebody a response is how they're going to respond back to you. It's energy. If I give you good energy, you're going to give me good energy. If I don't give you good energy, then something's going to happen. If I think about you, then you're going to think about me. It's a reciprocating thing. It's the law of reciprocity. So it definitely makes sense. And I'm glad I was able to be here and talk about this today. So I appreciate you, Wendy, Hector, Agnieszka. Thank you for being here. And Mark, appreciate you as well. Definitely will be here some more, but I'm glad I was able to do this room with you. Appreciate you all. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy Women's History Month as well. And I'll be here definitely having some more rooms like this with y'all. So till we meet again, buenos noches. Love you all. God bless. See you soon.